Crews are tearing down the old Fry's Electronics building on Murphy Canyon Road. We have the details for you on what's coming to this property.
The widow of Peter Seidler sues the late San Diego Padres owner's brothers for control of the team.
Dry, windy conditions as Santa Ana winds return. Weather impact alert days coming up.
One thing we didn't anticipate, and we're pleased to see, is this revenue increase again.
Highlights from Governor Gavin Newsom's budget proposal.
Another prison inmate in a high-profile murder comes up for parole, the leader of the so-called Bird Rock Bandits.
San Diego used to be the tuna capital of the world. A father and son's message to keep all of Southern California hooked on fishing.
CBS 8 News Live at 6 starts right now.
We begin tonight with an update for you on our abandoned building series. Demolition crews are now tearing down the old Fry's Electronics on Murphy Canyon Road. Good evening and thank you for joining us. I'm Carlo Cicchetto.
I'm Marcella Lee. The building has been vacant for years. CBS 8's Brian White is working for you in Serra Mesa to find out what's next for this property. Brian?
Yeah, I was out here more than a year ago reporting on this vacant Fry's building, and at the time, the property manager told me a massive redevelopment was in the works, but he couldn't say more than that. Since then, I've done some research.
Demolition crews using excavators and bulldozers to gut the inside of this building and tear it all down.
They're starting to haul stuff out of there here and there. I'm glad to see it go.
The store closed its doors for good nearly 4 years ago, along with at least 30 locations across the country. And since then, it's sat there empty with boarded up doors and windows and chain link fences blocking the driveways. And there's one word people keep using to describe it.
It was kind of an eyesore.
Yeah, I mean, it was an eyesore.
In November 2023, I asked people what they thought should go in there.
Be an indoor golf facility. How about like a Costco or something, a real big operation?
And now that it's finally being torn down, I'm still hearing some similar ideas.
How about build a par 3 golf course?
It would be awesome if we could make it like fun for all for the kids or something like that.
I pulled to the construction permit on file with the city of San Diego. The developer is going to build an apartment community here with 310 units.
We don't really need any more housing and cars in this area. They better make some parking structures to go along with those housing.
I checked on that. They're building a 5-story above-ground parking garage, and while some people aren't exactly happy to see housing going in here, others feel differently.
Honestly, I think housing is the best use for it. For this location, especially so close off the 15, right off of Arrow with all these businesses in the area. I couldn't think of a better use than housing.
As far as timeline, I'm told it'll take 2 years to finish the construction. Working for you in Serra Mesa, Brian White, CBS 8.
Thank you, Brian. And remember, if there is something that you would like us to look into, you can email us at workingforyou@cbs8.com.
The widow of Peter Seidler is suing the late San Diego Padres owner's brothers for control of the team.
CBS 8's Kelly Hessedal has more on what's in the lawsuit that was just filed in a Texas court.
This lawsuit is 93 pages long. Sheil Seidler accuses Peter Seidler's brothers of all kinds of things, including scheming to take control of the Padres. Now, she released a statement today saying she didn't want to make this fight public, but felt she had no choice.
Peter was an extraordinary and generous husband, father, son, brother.
Video Sheil Seidler throwing out the first pitch at last year's Padres home opener. The team wore heart patches with her late husband's initials on their jerseys. Peter Seidler passed away in November of 2023. Today, his widow announced she's taking legal action against 2 of his brothers. In a statement posted on X, Sheil Seidler wrote that she filed a complaint against Matthew Seidler and Robert Seidler to, quote, protect my family and carry out Peter's legacy. The lengthy lawsuit accuses the brothers of breaching their fiduciary duties as trustees of the Seidler Trust that controls the Padres. Sheil Seidler claims that before her husband died, he talked about his desire to have his wife be the team's control person. The lawsuit includes a handwritten note she says was written by Peter, listing her at number 1, followed by their 3 children. She says the brothers are trying to falsely cast themselves as Peter's true heirs. The suit also claims Bob Seidler's wife made multiple racist, profane, and hateful communications directed at Sheil, who was of Indian descent. And Sheila Seidler also accuses Peter's brothers of plotting against her while she was still mourning the loss of her husband. We reached out to the Padres for comment today. A spokesperson said they do not comment on pending legal matters. So far, Seidler's brothers have not commented publicly on these allegations. Kelly Hessedal, CBS 8.
Thanks, Kelly. Now, a spokesperson for the Peter Seidler Trust released a statement following that lawsuit being followed. CBS 8's Jake Gariani will have more on that and the whole story coming up later in sports. And stay with us for any updates on the story. We'll have the very latest developments posted on our website, cbs8.com. You can also follow us on social media or download our free CBS 8 app.
Tens of thousands of San Diegans could have their power shut off for public safety reasons in the coming days. It could happen as early as tomorrow with the return of Santa Ana winds and low humidity, once again raising the risk of a wildfire. CAL FIRE is moving firefighting resources from Northern California and strategically placing crews across Southern California just in case a fire breaks out. And we are actively watching for when those winds are going to hit us here in San Diego.
Chief Meteorologist Carlene Chavis joins us now for more on that and what else we can expect. Carlene?
Yeah, we're talking about critical fire weather over the next couple of days, especially as we do have those winds picking up, driving down those humidity values. So that will be your weather impact. We're talking about the strong winds also making for dangerous driving conditions out there, especially east of the 15. And then you also have critically dry air. So fire weather concerns will be around. We're going to start with the wind. Wind will start to pick up by tomorrow. That's going to be in the afternoon hours. Now we still have an onshore push, but it's going to quickly shift offshore. High pressure will be building in. So that's going to bring some gusts upwards of about 50 to 60 miles per hour, and that is for the inland valleys as well as for the mountains. And also talking about those sustained wind speeds out of the northeast, about 25 to 35 miles per hour. Strongest will be late tomorrow night, the overnight hours, all the way through Wednesday morning. Then you have the fire weather element of this. That is with a red flag warning that is going to go into effect early on Wednesday morning. Because of those stronger winds, it drives down the humidity values to about 10 to 20% on Wednesday and 10 to 15% on Thursday. We'll go ahead and take a look at your complete forecast coming up. Marcella.
Thanks, Carlene. And remember, for the latest weather conditions and alerts on the go, just download our free CBS 8 app from Google Play or the Apple App Store.
A former San Diego police officer is suing the department. Allison Ford was a decorated officer who served with the department for 17 years. She claims the department retaliated against her for making domestic abuse claims about her then husband, SDPD Sergeant Mitchell Ford. In April of 2020, Allison Ford called Escondido police to the home she shared with her then husband, alleging domestic violence, DUI, harassment, and that he made threats to her. According to Ford's lawsuit, SDPD dismissed her claims and placed her under investigation for speaking out. This while allowing her husband to retain his position and weapons despite an active restraining order.
I really tried to stay and I tried to make it work, but the environment became so toxic I had no choice but to resign.
Ford's attorney says while the lawsuit does not seek a specific amount, he does believe a jury would rule for, quote, considerable compensation. Ford says her ultimate goal is to bring an end to what she calls a culture of cover-ups and retaliation within the department.
San Diego County Supervisors Joel Anderson and Tara Lawson-Reamer were sworn into their new terms today, which was also Supervisor Nora Vargas's final day in office. Vargas abruptly resigned 3 weeks ago, citing personal safety and security reasons, but gave no further details. She was reelected in November, just before her resignation. In a statement released today, Vargas said in part, quote, "Despite the challenges, I'm filled with appreciation for the opportunity to have served this incredible community as your first Latina, first woman of color, first immigrant, and first binational supervisor," end quote. She added, quote, "Thank you for trusting me to represent your needs, voices, and interests. It's been an honor to work tirelessly on your behalf."
San Diego County's fentanyl task force is earning praise from State Attorney General Rob Bonta following what he called a successful year of operations. The multi-agency team, known as FAST, made nearly 150 arrests and intercepted close to 300 pounds of fentanyl last year. San Diego's U.S. Attorney credits these efforts for a historic decline in local fentanyl deaths, saying our collective efforts are making a difference in combating the drug's spread across the border. Governor Gavin Newsom is unveiling his budget proposal for the upcoming fiscal year.
It totals $322 billion with no deficit. This comes after 2 years of significant budget shortfalls. Newsom said he's proposing little new spending. The budget allows the state to implement the country's first universal transitional kindergarten program, making school free for 400,000 four-year-olds. But Newsom adds there is some uncertainty.
As it relates to trade policy or tariff policy or immigration policy that could radically shape and impact the debate in this country, impact our revenue stream in this state. So I'm mindful that number is a number that requires some iteration and constant reconsideration, but it's $1 billion more than was considered last year. We continue to
Full details of the budget proposal are expected to be released this Friday.
What we're learning about revised plans for California's high-speed rail network. That's still ahead.
Plus, a La Jolla man convicted in the death of a local surfer is about to plead his case for freedom, why prosecutors oppose his release.
And the winter weather causing travel turmoil all across the country. We'll have that when we come back.